Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Pharaoh. Welcome back. This is episode 11 of the Ep11 beginner guide. So I said in episode 10 we were basically done with the tutorial of the game. So today I'm going to do Wyvern 11 and then just talking a little bit about the next steps after you've done Wyvern 11. I know some of you have done Wyvern 13 in like a week, like 8 days I've seen, 9 days I've seen. Which is definitely possible. I mean, obviously it is if you guys have done it. But I just took the approach to just do a bunch of side story and adventure farming or unrecorded history farming, because it's like you need the catalysts anyway for other heroes to build. So I mean, you can do it either way, and then you get charms. You get a ton of charms from side story. You get a decent amount from unrecorded history as well. But it seems like you just get an absolute ton from side story. So, yeah, at least I'm building some up that way too. Like, it's kind of a balance at the beginning of the game between Wyvern farming and then just getting the charms and catalysts you need. And then obviously you have to do some rune farming for awakenings, but that just is what it is. The other thing is that some of you guys are wondering why I said to build Tamarin and Iseria and Vildred, like why you actually want them. We're not really there yet on the account. However, they're all three they work very well together in a team for the Asmonak hunt, where you can get Rage Gear, which is pretty good. It'll allow you to deal 30% extra damage on a target that is debuffed, I believe, is how that works, which is it's just a massive amount of damage. It's great for Sigrid, so I'm going to do some Wyvern farming and then try to just build Tamarin, Vildred. Well, I mean, I already have Vildred built, but I just need to get some stuff up here. But getting Iseria and Tamarin built is like the next step after Wyvern 13, and then using them in Labyrinth together, and then Asmonak. You can do it in Cades as well, I think. In Cades, you have to have units that do skills that it's like a non-attack skill. So Iseria has a skill 2 that doesn't attack. Tamarin has 2 skills that don't attack. There are some, like Furious could work because he has something like this, and then it's an extra decreased defense, and there's some crit chance in the team. Other stuff, Sirmia resets her cooldown and gets an extra turn, and then does two attack skills. So something like Sirmia can work as well, because she does have a non-attack skill. A lot of people use Rowana, because the skill 3 is not an attacking skill. So there's a bunch of different stuff in here. I guess just for some reason I thought she got an extra turn, but I guess it's off of a damage skill, not off of a it's an attack, not a buff or anything to herself. But yeah, you guys get the idea. There are some ways you can get through it, like Adventurer Raz. You can use him because he's pretty tanky, so he'll survive. But Vildred can work, but probably not like recommended for Cades. That's a bit farther on down the line, though. But yeah, Tamarin and Iseria, they can work in arena offense as well. You could put them on defense, and it could work. But they're better for arena offense, and then Labyrinth, and then Asmonak. You can even bring Tamarin into Banshee, I think, and that'll work. You can bring them into Golem, and that'll work. They're useful in a ton of places. Vildred is just fantastic in side story, and Adventure for farming catalysts. He makes the runs a lot faster. He's great for, again, Asmonak. He doesn't do any debuffs, which is somewhat of an issue in that hunt. You can only have 2 debuffs, or the boss, if the boss gets 3 or more, I think the boss strips and then does some massive AoE attack. So Vildred, Iseria, and Tamarin are just really good units for a lot of different areas for a lot of different reasons, and I'll show all of those over time here. So let's do a Wyvern run, though, just so I can show you guys how that's going. My team is not 100%. I'll go over the gear afterwards. This is the team I recommended to everyone to build. I'm a little confused on some of the building aspects of it, because I'm used to having to build Furious to like 220 speed, and then Sigrid and Alexa back in the day were supposed to be like, or Terran Guard even, you could use, they were supposed to be like 160, no, they were supposed to be like 190 speed, I think. they were supposed to be like 190 speed, and then Angelica was fine at like 155, 160 as long as she was tanky. But with Mewy, like the speeds are completely different because of his attack bar push. So I'm kind of messing around with having Mewy at like 165, I think, and then Sigrid's at like 155. Furious is at like 200, and then Angelica's at 168. She has got a speed boot on her. Like, Angelica is really not going to have any problem tanking in Wyvern. Like, never going to have a problem tanking. You can, like, obviously you can run a speed boot and it still works fine. Actually, the issue I find in here is that if I don't get 3 debuffs on the boss, or 2, if I don't get 2 debuffs on the boss after the first rotation, he really enjoys killing the other units on my team that are not Angelica. So I'll show you guys the exclusive equipments as well, and see if maybe I should change something there. Get like an additional debuff. Furious's exclusive equipment does have the decrease hit chance thing on it. I do have that potential, but it's only a 75% chance. I mean, it is every other turn he gets, but I mean, I don't know, sometimes everything lands and sometimes nothing lands. I think maybe it's just unavoidable. I know some of you guys, well, one of you has built a team with Rose and Clarissa, and then I think it was Mewy and Furious, I think, were the other 2 on the team. So that can work as well. Obviously, Rose just needs to be really, really tanky, because she's not going to be able to heal herself. Clarissa's great for this hunt because she can do the AoE damage. Like, if I were to switch this team at all with Clarissa, I would take Sigrid out and put Clarissa in, because at this point it's kind of hard to do it without Mewy. I don't have the gear to be fast enough to take Mewy out, and I can't really take Furious out because he's an extra. Well, I guess I could with Clarissa because she brings a decreased defense, but I'd have to then have 85 crit chance on Sigrid, Mewy, and Clarissa, and that's kind of, 3 sets with 85% crit chance, 190 speed, and then attack and whatever else on there, the crit damage too. It'd be kind of hard to make that work, but it has to be pretty much full damage because, I mean, Rose is going to die eventually. I mean, she's got maybe 3 rotations that she could survive. The idea of that team is that Clarissa can clear the first wave very, very quickly, potentially one shot, but she can clear it very quickly regardless. Obviously, if you have Furious on the team, you could decrease defense on the first wave on one of the monsters and then go in with Clarissa's 3rd skill. Pretty much guaranteed you're going to kill it at that point if you have the attack buff from Rose and a defense break and a crit chance buff from Furious. Like, you're very, very much going to kill the first wave. But the second wave, again, it's kind of like, can you make Rose skill cycle quickly enough and get as much damage off as you can with the other 3? So, yeah. But that is a possible team. If none of that made any sense, I mean, it will eventually, as long as you keep playing the game. Okay, so the Wyvern run went fine. I'll just show the gear. Here's a note. In the Sigrid event or the new Heirs event, you get 10 chests of 700 pieces of equipment each. And I was like, okay, I might as well just get attack gear to put on Sigrid. And then after I went through, like, I don't know, 4,000 golem material, I was kind of like in my head, I could have just gone for the Wyvern sets and gotten a bunch of speed gear and hit set gear, thrown that on Sigrid, or Mewy, just switch up the sets in some capacity, and then I would have had the extra speed and hit gear for Iseria and Tamarin, so I kind of just put myself behind by doing that. When you guys get that, I would strongly recommend using all 10 of those chests, so it'll be 7,000 pieces of equipment, exclusively for Wyvern, and not trying to make attack sets work and getting the effectiveness that you need on every piece of gear, and just going for like speed and effect chance instead, because again, the speed sets are actually going to be useful. Like, this is just trash. This is just not a good piece of gear right here. But I mean, I had to fit something in somewhere. But yeah, now I have to sit here and farm Wyvern even more for Tamarin and Icera gear. So don't make that mistake like I did. But these are her total stats here. And then we will check the skill ups. She is fully skilled up. And then once you get her to friendship level 10, you'll get 3 of these. But because she's already max skilled, she'll get 3 Molagoras in return. So you don't need to worry about fully maxing something out in the skills. You can just go for it, and the game will give you back the Molagoras. If you guys are wondering what Molagora goes, these are from like 2019, I think they got rid of them. Back in the day, the last one that you had, or potentially the last 2, I think, for some units, you had to use Molagorago, which was 8 Molagoras to make 1 Molagorago. There's way more Molagoras in the game now, but it used to be like a legitimate struggle to get things skilled up because you had to use these as well. So that's why they're there. I think they can't take it out of the game because they couldn't force people to trade in their Molagoragos back into Molagora. Like, you know, people like to collect stuff. It's the same thing with the Terra Phantasmas and Giga Phantasmas and Mega Phantasmas, like the things that we used to promote heroes with primarily. Like, people like to collect that stuff, so it's just going to be in the game. I don't think there's any unit in the game that you need Molagorago for, though. So she is on crit damage, attack, percentage, and speed, though, for there. And then this exclusive equipment, after using Smash, the health condition to activate Sever's extra attack changes to 75%. I might need to change that. We can go and look at her exclusive skills real quick. Because that's extra damage, but that might be hurting me in the debuff department. So Hall of Trials here, and the Exchange Shop, Warrior, and down to her. So her first one increases damage dealt by Sever by 20%, and then the Sever is the second skill, and then the I think, or is it the first skill? We'll check in a second. Increases Sever's chance of inflicting bleed by 20%. So I might need to go for that one, or even just go for the first one and increase the damage dealt by Sever by 20%. I'm not sure what the difference would be in damage if I increase the damage on the first skill instead of just activating Smash. Okay, if using Smash, I think Sever's the first skill and Smash is the second skill. Yeah, I might need to get the increased chance of inflicting bleeding, though. We can look at that real quick. Because I'm just not... The runs I'm failing, it's because I don't have enough debuffs on the boss, like, straight up. I'm not dying in the first wave. I have enough tankiness on Niwi and Furious that they can take 2 hits, and that's all that they should be taking in the first wave anyway, because Angelica's third skill will come into here, and then use the barrier and heal them, and they'll survive. They flat out, they'll just survive. However, her first skill here, 50% chance of inflicting bleeding, so I'm wondering if I go up to 70% chance, that's a little better. Then it would have a 70% chance of inflicting 2 bleeding effects. I don't think those are a package deal. I think you can inflict just one of the bleeding effects and then the other one misses. I don't think you have to hit both for both to register. You can hit the same attack, and it's like 2 different accuracy checks it goes through to see if you've made the chance to land the bleed in the first place, and then to see if you have enough effectiveness, and then to see if the boss has an effect resistance, like just a natural resist. If that doesn't make sense, there's a 15% innate resistance in this game. It's the exact same thing as Summoner's War. Some other games are that way. Some games, it's just if you have the accuracy, the debuff will land every time, as long as the debuff has a 100% chance to land. But in this game, there is innate resistance that the boss has that some things just simply will not land, just because the boss has a chance to just not let it land. That's every single unit in the game, not just the Wyvern boss. Every single unit in the game. Like, if you bring Angelica to Arena, there's a chance that she will just simply resist. Maybe I should use something with, like, no effect resistance. So, yeah. Vildred has 0 effect resistance. He will resist debuffs 15% of the time. Like, it's the innate skill. There are some units that completely go through it. It's just a 100% chance to land, and it will go through effect resistance, and it'll tell you that in the skill. Just a few units that have that, but just keeping that in mind, like, that's why it might be a better idea to have that. I might switch it, but yeah, you guys give me your thoughts in the comments if you guys think I should switch that, or if you think there's just something else wrong with my team. Like, this in the past this has worked, but it seems like it's failing 20% of the time. I feel like it's an 80% run, 80% clear. She got a lot of effectiveness, Angelica. I don't know what happened here. This is going to get thrown onto probably ice area. The health and the speed is pretty decent for her, and then you can probably run like a crit chance or a crit damage necklace for ice area to try to get some damage as well. But she's kind of a hybrid build when you do build her. But yeah, Angelica doesn't need any effectiveness, but she has a for whatever reason 40. But these are her stats. This is a great one to have. Dispels 1 debuff from all allies after using her 3rd skill. Fantastic. It makes her like utility so much better. She's fine at 4/4 here. 0/4/4. She does plenty of healing for herself. That's all she really needs to worry about, because this is going to do enough to protect your Mui and Sigurd and Furious in the first wave anyway. But yeah, and then Prophetic Candle up there, and then Daydream Joker on Sigurd. Mui is looking like this with these stats. He's got crit damage there. He's got attack percentage there. And then some speed there. Like, doesn't need 24 effect resistance. That's actually the only place it's coming from. He can have 0, and that's totally fine. He shouldn't be getting hit too much in Wyvern anyway, other than the first wave, because it's just random. And then he's on Daydream Joker as well. He has a triple S imprint. Now, something I'm screwing up here, this needs to be skilled up to the +4 for the extra effect chance. And then the first skill as well, I need to get the extra effect chance up. So I am missing debuffs there. Maybe that would be enough to push me over. That's something I'll talk about in the next episode. I'll get this done today, and then see if I'm seeing like a 10% difference, or maybe that completely fixes it. I don't know. It's not like it's a 100% chance either way, but any extra percent chance is pretty good, and you should go for it. And then extra damage if you want to. You can just finish him out for the extra damage. He only takes stigma and gold in the catalysts and whatever, so not a bad deal there. And then Furious here. So Furious, I've got it 201 speed, just, I mean, barely enough health and defense to take 2 hits in Wyvern. This effectiveness ring is from Arena once again. Definitely pick this up for him. And then he's got speed here. He shouldn't need a hit set with this ring. I mean, it'd be hard to not get enough effectiveness. You need 65 effectiveness for everything. That's the number I've seen for years. And then I was looking on Reddit today, and then it was like you need 75 or effectiveness. If someone has some sort of, like, they know for sure, please tell me. I've been told for years it's 65 effectiveness. It's worked. Maybe I'm wrong. So if I'm wrong about that, then just leave a comment. But I'm pretty sure it's 65 effectiveness. He seems to land his debuffs plenty enough anyway. Sigurd and Mui also have 65% effectiveness. But yeah, he just needs to be able to survive the first wave and have enough speed and effectiveness. Again, there's a guide I've seen where it's like he only needs 155 speed. I don't understand how that's possible, but maybe it is. I mean, that is possible if you hit every debuff, and you can then put more damage on. But if you don't hit every debuff, you kind of need the extra speed, I thought. I don't know. And then this one has a 75% chance to decrease hit chance of the target. So that's great. I would go for that one. Just pick up the extra chance to get a whole extra debuff on there, and that'll help your Angelica anyway. And then he's not doing any damage. I wouldn't worry about what the attack percentage is. If you have Song of Stars, it'll make your Wyvern Run 100%. With the exact same stats I have, if you had Song of Stars, put it on your Furious, it will be 100%. You will never fail. You shouldn't. It should be literally impossible for you to fail with this team that I have. the amount of debuffs they have, and then the extra chance to get the target on as well. But if you don't have Song of Stars like me, you can run Infinity Basket. But yeah, those are all the stats. I should do... Sorry, I should show the skill ups for Furious, in case you guys did not see them. He's got 6 into this, because you need the extra effect chance there to get it to 100%, and then you do need the 1 turn cooldown here. This is questionable whether you actually need to get this to 35%. Again, this could be something that helps me to solve my Wyvern Run problems. Getting the extra effect chance there, that's sort of a question mark. I don't really want to waste the Molagora on him, but you guys tell me again what you guys think, if I should probably just go for that or not. But yeah, anyway, I think that's all for this one. Go ahead and do these. I think that's all for this video, though. I mean, I showed the entire team, the artifacts, the skill ups. I showed a run, and again, I'd said about 80%, so I need to do some skill ups on Miwi and see if that helps. But moving forward from here, I'm just looking into getting some gear for Tamarin and Ice Area, and then just moving forward in Adventure. I need to get to Episode 2, Chapter 1010 to get Adventurer Raz pretty soon, so I am in the 7th one. Just going through. It's not like it's hard. Like, I'm just getting stuck because I think I skipped the story, and then I walk away for 40 seconds, and then I come back, and then there was, like, more story, so... Yeah, that's kind of slowing me down, but I'll be through here quickly, and then we'll be on to Adventurer Raz, who is also a fantastic unit. But yeah, that's all for this one, and I'll see everybody in the next video.